Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Are you a brewhead? I'm a brewhead. Y'all are brewheads? Yeah, we brewheads. So pour a glass of craft beer, we can do this. Yeah.
What's good, y'all? This is C Certified Brewhead, and welcome to another edition of Beer Mail here on BAOS. And I got a nice one first tonight. Huge shout outs to Nathan from RNDBeer for actually picking these up and shipping them to me, courtesy of Patricia and Ricardo at OverHop, which is they're a Brazilian brewery, I believe. But they're now actually brewing out of Common Good in Toronto and Oshlag here in Montreal. Funnily enough, I'd spoken to Patricia a couple times about some launch events they'd had in Toronto and in Montreal, and I just wasn't able to make either of them, unfortunately. And I had probably 3 or 4 people in Montreal reach out saying, hey, you should talk to these guys, you should talk to these guys. And a few other people in Toronto and Ottawa as well. So I was like, all right, well, it's been a long time coming, but at least Nathan got the beers over. So they have 2 beers available in Canada currently. The first one is called their Hazy New England IPA. Of course, right up my personal alley. And this was canned on the 9th of February. And then secondly, we have the One Love Imperial IPA, 9%. Sorry, this one was 6.5. And that one does not say the canning date on that one, but the wrap looks sick. Super cool branding across the board for these guys. Like, I'm super impressed with everything. So we're going to start with the New England, of course. So chuck us the video a like or a comment if you've had either of these beers. Whoa, Jesus, I exploded. Beer mail out. I went over the glass. Amazing. Okay, so some hazy beers I've noticed, I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but see how clear that's looking? It happens a lot. I got a feeling it's like just the yeast at the bottom. And something that Nathan actually told me, I think it was Nathan, you give that bad boy a bit of a swirl at the end of the pour and just pop it in. I think, unfortunately, when we share beers and we only pour a little bit out when we do the reviews, I don't think we're getting like a true that looks gorgeous, representation of the actual beer. There's still a little bit left, but we'll get into it anyway. Of the beer, because sometimes you don't get that last bit of yeast or whatever that gives it the actual color that it's supposed to have. So this doesn't look entirely hazy, but doesn't mean it's not a New England IPA. What does it say here? Blah blah blah. Bitterness, dry hopping, double dry hopped. It says misty, so as opposed to, it doesn't say which type of hops. So on that note, get it in you. Nice little tropical vibe. Great. Sounds like one of the Bellwood monogamies. Don't know which one, but definitely got that vibe about it. Creamy, smooth. Like I said, bit of a tropical nose. Like no bitterness at all. Wicked carbonation levels. Nice and balanced. Not too sharp. Not too like flat either. That's great, man. A little tangy. A little dank and resiny at the end, actually, which is causing a tiny little bit of bitterness, but not really, just like balancing it out. It's a fantastic beer. Let's see if I actually just pour the rest in, see what makes a difference to the color. I guess they're not claiming it's cold hazy, so people would assume that it is, but it's not claiming to actually be on the beer. Very cool branding. The consistency, they use a lot of the skulls, which I like. Very cool. All right, time for the Imperial. So this bad boy, 9%, it's going to knock me tits off. This is our very first beer. Hop bitterness. So it's probably West Coast style, I would assume. Cool can. If you can tell, there's like raised bits on the can. I really like that. Like a matte can with like the raised stuff. I think that's just, it's real subtle, but it definitely stands out. Okay, can't get much from that. Let's have a look at this bad boy. Okay, a little darker in color, a little more amber. Yes. Kind of similar opacity. That looks sick, yo, with the lights. How about these lights? Chuck us a like if you like the lights. Hey? We've been watching other YouTubers. No one beer tubers don't really do that. But you know what? We ain't regular beer tubers, folks. So I say we, like there's more of us here. Well, Tiff's here. Shout out to Tiff. Click like if you like Tiffany. She's a great chick.
Thanks. Click like.
Click like. So this bad boy, if you want to compare the color, definitely a lot more on the amber, copper, honey-colored vibe. And it's probably, I would say, like a bit more opaque, funnily enough. Not really much of a nose at all. Maybe just because it's a shit ton of head right there, but I'm going to get it in me anyway. It's great. Solid. West Coast IPA. Definitely more bitterness than that bad boy. Still dank and resiny. Similar, less tropical fruit, more of that dank resiny vibe in here. Doesn't say what hops they use, but I'd definitely say it's not the Mosaic Simcoe kind of variety. Yeah, man. Solid. I'm impressed. Didn't know what to expect because I feel like if they're an established brewery in Brazil, which actually doesn't say over here, unfortunately, and they're brewing out of 2 different places in 2 different cities, which I think is really smart, man. Like, to be able to come into a whole nother country and understand the industry enough to realize, well, if we brew just out of Toronto, we're not going to be able to ship to Quebec and vice versa. They figured it out, and it's available on tap and in cans from the Common Good Tap Room. For Oshlag, they don't sell out of the brewery, so I assume it's just available in depths out here. I've been away for a while, so I haven't actually checked lately, but I just think that's really smart when you think about how ridiculous the beer laws and everything is in Canada, and to be able to figure that out from overseas, unless they might have a consultant, something like that. But I definitely want to talk to them about that. So Patty, Ricardo, we'd love to have you on the podcast if we can figure out a goddamn time. But sorry, I want another sip. This looks sexy. Yeah, great. Both really good beers. So check them out if you're in Ontario or Quebec. The rest of Canada, I'm not really sure what's up with that. Get your trade on if you're in BC or Manitoba or Halifax or Nova Scotia. Check that out, but that is it for now. So if you enjoyed the video, chuck us a big fat thumbs up, hit subscribe down below over yonder. Follow us on social media at BAOS Podcast, and check out the long form audio right now, our podcast on Apple Podcasts. And also a big thing about that'll really help us, if you can rate and review the podcast on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, that would be extremely helpful. It seems to not come up so well in search, even though we've been around for like 2.5 years, 3 years actually now coming up. That'd be really, really helpful because, we're 70 odd episodes in, and we really want to, keep this growing and, keep bringing great beer stories to y'all. That is it, folks. Like and subscribe, of course, and get it in ya.